I'm Mark Angelo. I'm the head of the BCIT Fish and Wildlife Program. I'm also the British Chair of the Outdoor Recreation Council. And I believe this proposal is ill-conceived and would be very damaging to the river and the valley fronts. As everybody in this room knows, and I think people across Western Canada know, the Upper Pitt was listed as British Columbia's most endangered river a few days ago. And that's very significant for tonight's meeting. And I want to say that list was based on the views not only of the 100,000 members of the Outdoor Recreation Council, we also received tens of thousands of nominations from citizens across British Columbia. We also heard from a number of resource managers in our province. So that list represents the views not only of those who use and recreate along rivers, but also those who manage them. So I think it's a real accurate snapshot of the state of our waterways. And the message is very clear. British Columbians look at the Upper Pitt as a waterway in real trouble. I think it's also important for the elected officials we have with us tonight. It's great to see so many here. But I think it's also important that they appreciate the fact that this is an issue that's resonating not just across the Lower Mainland, but across the entire province. And tonight's turnout is a reflection of that. We have close to 1,000 people in this room. 1,200. 1,200. And just so everybody knows, there are still a lot outside waiting to get in. Now, from a professional perspective, I have great concerns about this project. This is a massive project, and when I look at the large number of diversions covering a short span of river, I think there is very real potential for serious cumulative environmental impacts. And that's especially bothersome to myself and the vast majority of people in this room, especially given the many major battles that have been fought along the Upper Pitt over the last 10 or 15 years. There are people in this room that put in an incredible effort to get Pine Cove Bird Park, Provincial Park established. There are many people in this room that did an incredible job in fighting a very controversial proposed gravel mine from just 8 or 9 years ago. There are people in this room that pushed government to clean up the Upper Pitt after that dump became exposed and so much garbage and debris went into the river just a few years ago. And after all those issues were successfully resolved, we thought the river and the valley it ran through was finally protected, only to discover that the greatest threat still lie ahead. So I look at this development, and I believe that government must say no. The Upper Pitt is the wrong place. The river is far too special. I've been fortunate to have paddled and traveled along hundreds of rivers in this province, and clearly the Upper Pitt is a jewel amongst our waterways. Government must say no. If government doesn't say no, I think that will damage whatever faith people still have in terms of our ability to distinguish between those projects that might be appropriate and those that are clearly not. And the Upper Pitt is clearly not. Now, as an academic, I can give you many scientific reasons why I think this project should be turned away. But I also want to stress that many of us in this room have a great personal attachment to this river, which you can appreciate. And I'm no different in that I took my youngest daughter to the Upper Pitt many years ago to catch her very first fish. We had a great wilderness adventure, and she did catch her first fish. A beautiful 9-pound bull trout that we admired and then released. There are not too many places anywhere close to Vancouver where you can do that. And that's something she will never forget. Well, I believe that young families from this generation, and the next, and the next, they should be able to enjoy this river and this park in the same way and in the same state that we did. And lastly, I think the Endangered Rivers List this year really highlighted the fact that people across the Lower Mainland place great value on knowing that just a stone's throw away, they can visit a place like the Upper Pitt. A great wild river, a great fishery, a great park. And I think what the 1,000 people here tonight and the tens of thousands of others across the province, what they are clearly saying is that they will do whatever they can to keep it that way.